Hi Akshpreet, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, sir. I am good.
Okay, Akshpreet, thanks a lot for coming on platform of YourPedia Education and sparing your precious time for the interaction.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, Akshpreet, today we are going to interact about one of the very prestigious scholarship which you have just now received. And before we talk in detail about this, let me tell you this interaction. The purpose of this interaction is there are so many thousands of the students who will watch this interaction, and they are the students who are aspiring for higher education in India, abroad, etc., and masters, PhD courses, and we want to make them aware that there are so many scholarships. Normally students are only aware about the scholarships like GATE scholarship and all, but there are so many other scholarships, and through you I would like to then make them aware about these scholarships also, and also what are the opportunities available for them through higher education. And this is one of the main purpose of this interaction. Now Akshpreet, before I have made some kind of questionnaire to discuss with you. So before I start asking you that, my first question normally is about you yourself only, about your introduction only. So Akshpreet, please tell all of us about you first.
Thank you, sir. I am DST Inspired JRF at Department of Electrical and Electronics Engineering, Punjab University, Chandigarh. Talking about my background, my hometown is Patiala. It's a city in Punjab. I have completed my entire education till 10th from Patiala itself. For 11th and 12th, I moved to Chandigarh. Thereafter, I did bachelor's in electrical and electronics engineering and master's in power systems from UIT, Punjab University, Chandigarh. Because of having good association with the master supervisor, I am currently pursuing PhD at UIT.
Okay. So this Akshpreet, this is a very prestigious scholarship. This scholarship which you have got, Inspire Scholarship, it is called. And you know what I know about this is that once you get Inspire Scholarship, then you can pursue your PhD anywhere in any of the top universities in India. Now you have preferred to stay back in the same university, Punjab University, from where you graduated in Chandigarh.
Right.
So I was thinking whether the reason for this is that you like Chandigarh, which is a city beautiful very much, and don't want to relocate, or what is the reason that you decided to continue your PhD also from Punjab University?
See, indeed, Chandigarh is a beautiful city. There are two reasons that I stayed back here. The first one is good association with my mentors. And the second one is my family requirements. I was supposed to be localite, so that's why I stayed back here.
Okay, so Akshpreet, now I think I can start with my questionnaire which I prepared for you. So my first question to you is, Akshpreet, like PhD. When we talk about, when we say about the PhD, what comes to the mind is long years. I mean, 3-4 more years of investment after masters, and it's an arduous journey. I mean, doing a lot of research work, finding the proper problem and research facilities and all. So it is a difficult task. At the same time, when your friends are doing jobs and all, you are basically doing research. So how you decided at the first place to go for PhD after your masters?
See, I totally agree that PhD is a long-term commitment, and I would say more or less it requires consistency. There are a couple of reasons that I opted for it. The first is before joining PhD, I was teaching in an engineering college in Mohali.
Great.
Seeing career in academics, PhD is a must.
Good.
Secondly, also my experience while pursuing masters, I realized my temperament for research. And the major reason that I believe for this choice is that I'm gold medalist in master's degree, which made my eligibility for Inspire Fellowship.
Okay.
Having inclination towards academic and research, I decided to apply for prestigious Inspire Fellowship, which I got through. And this made me to opt for PhD. Of course, financial stability is one of the factor.
Okay. Okay. So since you have already experience of teaching, so Akshpreet, how do you find teaching profession? Did you like it? You had teaching experience also.
Yes, I had good experience in that. See, the communication that you have with students, and particularly now you are on the other side of the table, so
Yeah.
that's pretty good. It was a new experience for me. I was on the other side of the table after so many years. We keep on studying, so it was a really good the communication you build with students,
Very good.
and you sometimes enjoy a lot, and you celebrate some events as well. And apart from teaching, you also impart them few other skills like how to develop your personality and extracurriculars and supporting them in their field of interest. For
Very true.
example, some students are so much good in art and recitation and building up their skills, so that was a very good experience.
Yeah, I normally tell my students also that instead of going directly after MTech to PhD, it is better that you have some years of industrial or academic experience, because you know
Yes.
these experiences actually prepare you for the real thing which you are going to do in the PhD. And this is the perfect that you have done 2 years of teaching also experience, and now you are pursuing PhD.
That's
Now
true.
we come to our real interaction points. So that is, I would like you to tell us briefly about Inspire Scholarship, Akshrit.
Yes. See, Inspire is an innovative program sponsored and managed by Department of Science and Technology, which comes under Ministry of Science and Technology, for attraction of talent to science. It
Okay,
is at all levels and mainly for science streams.
okay.
See,
So,
the main prestige of this fellowship is that there is no entrance exam. So
okay,
no admission is direct.
okay,
And so it also exists, the existing criteria that we give exams in masters, so that is taken into account.
okay. So, Akshrit, you said it's a very prestigious scholarship and there is no entrance exam also for that, unlike GATE or maybe NET, JRF and
Yes.
all. So, what is then eligibility and how can some student apply for that?
See, Inspire scholars, that is, who are already receiving Inspire scholarship at their bachelor's or master's level, first thing. And secondly, rank one holders, only rank one holders in their full-time postgraduate degree are eligible to apply from science streams, that is science, engineering, technology, agriculture, pharmacy, or other applied sciences streams. And yes, also undergraduates, only undergraduates in medicine, that is MBBS, can apply.
So, Akshrit, what I understood when you said this, like only rank one holder. So, can you please elaborate it more? Let's say somebody is studying in NIT. Let's say NIT Kurukshetra, or somebody is studying in Punjab Engineering College or Thapar Institute, or let's say
Yes.
Punjab University. So, what
Yes.
is the meaning of rank one? That means when you are in electrical engineering, you should be first in your university in electrical. Is that what you mean?
Yes, yes, that's true. For example, see, NIT is an autonomous institute.
Right.
But if we talk about Punjab University, there are 4 to 5 institutes. Like there is UIT Chandigarh, there is UIT Hoshiarpur, and there is
Right.
also the CCET,
Kurukshetra. Kurukshetra
CCET
also.
Chandigarh. No, no,
Yeah.
no. I am talking about
Punjab
institutes,
University. Okay.
that are institutes that are affiliated to Punjab
Okay.
University only.
Okay. Okay.
And that means, like, I have done masters in power systems, so
Okay.
the postgraduate degree, in if that in my case this power systems is only in UIT, but
Okay.
if it exists in other institutes, so the topper of entire institute, means in topper of university, is eligible to apply, not of an institute.
Okay, okay. So topper is eligible.
Rank
Uh,
one holder.
Rank one holder. So you were rank one in your university, right? Is
Yes,
that
I
what
was
you mean?
rank one
Okay,
holder.
great, great. So Akshrit, my next question to you is like how this scholarship, somebody, how can he apply on this? And though I will request you little later to show on the PPT details about this, but can you briefly tell us that how can somebody apply for this?
See, the application procedure is online, which
Okay,
I'll be discussing here in detail to guide aspiring Inspire fellows. It's
okay,
entirely online.
okay. It's entirely online only. You have to
Yes,
provide
it's
it.
a
Okay.
two-tiered selection process. First is provisional selection, and then you take admission, or you have already taken admission, then you apply for final offer.
Okay.
So research proposal is the main criteria, you can
Okay, my
say.
next question actually was that only, Akshpreet. So can you tell something about, because the research proposal, as you said, there is no competitive exam for this, and I understand for PhD, research proposal is something which is very, very crucial document. And majority of the student, at least in the graduation level, they fear writing a research proposal. They do not have idea about the research proposal. So Akshpreet, can you please tell us something, though you will mention that in detail in PowerPoint presentation, but can you tell briefly in couple of lines, what is this research proposal all about?
See, research proposal plays a very crucial role in selection of any kind of fellowship or
Yes,
project.
yes,
Particularly, DST requires a very concise proposal in about 4 to 5 pages.
great.
So research proposal needs major attention and should be arranged in a very smart and attractive manner. The first thing is a concise and descriptive title.
Okay,
And then we start with introduction, then
okay.
comes literature review, and then the research gap, like why you are trying to do this project or why you are proposing this particular project. And then comes clearly defined research objectives, and then comes the methodology, research methodology, and then envisaged outcomes. Like for example, if you have sanctioned this project, or you are selected for this fellowship, what would be the outcome? What would be the benefit to the individual, society, or at a larger scale to the country? So,
Okay.
and then you just cite and the references.
Okay, great. So, Akshpreet, if I ask you, is writing research proposal difficult thing or what? I mean, if you are to say that.
See, it's not really difficult. I won't say that it's difficult, but yes, it requires extensive literature review. You
Okay.
should have the knowledge of the subject, and that is just reading articles, reading papers, reading, and reading.
Okay. So you should have patience to read a lot of material and refer a lot of
Yes.
research papers, right?
See, as many good papers you read, as many the exact idea you get about your research work, you will be able to put into your own words in a much nicer manner, and you can arrange that data attractively, like making flow charts and for the methodology specifically. So that is going to be a really good, and you know, the proposal should sound attractive to the reader.
Okay, so Akshpreet, as I had requested you to guide our students through some kind of presentations and all, so have you prepared something for that, Akshpreet, for students?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
can you
Yes.
please share with us those?
Yes. So here I'll be addressing some FAQs for Inspire aspirants. The most frequently asked questions are: what is Inspire Fellowship? Who all are eligible to apply for Inspire Fellowship? How to apply for it? In how much time result will be declared for first level screening? I have received provisional offer. Can I opt for another supervisor or institute or research topic other than that I mentioned in my application form? How to apply for final offer? What is the criteria of selection? How to write effective research proposal in 4 to 5 pages? What does ink signed mean? What kind of admission letter is required to be uploaded? In how much time final results will be declared? And in how much time fellowship amount will be sanctioned? So I'll be addressing all these queries because these are the most frequently asked questions. So what is Inspire? Inspire stands for Innovation in Science Pursuit for Inspired Research. It is an innovative program sponsored and managed by Department of Science and Technology, which comes under Ministry for Science and Technology, for attraction of talent to science. The basic objective of Inspire is to communicate to the youth of the country the excitements of creative pursuit of science, attract talent to the study of science at an early stage, and thus build the required critical human resource pool for strengthening and expanding the science and technology system and R&D base. A striking feature of the program is that it does not believe in conducting competitive exams for identification of talent at any level. It believes in and relies on the efficacy of the existing educational structure for identification of talent. So as we have discussed earlier, there is direct entry to any institute in India. No net, gate, and any kind of entrance test is required. The Inspire scheme is at 3 levels. First is Inspire Award, which is for class 6 to 10th, and then Inspire Internship for class 11th science stream students. Inspire Scholarship is for bachelor's and master's in science streams. And Inspire Fellowship, which we'll be discussing here in detail, is for PhD. And the age group who can apply is 22 to 27 years of age. And the number of fellowships offered are 1,000. And then at postdoc level, there is Inspire Faculty for the age group of 27 to 32 years. So here we are discussing details of Inspire. It is a 2-tier selection process. The duration of fellowship is 5 years or final defend of thesis, whichever is earlier. Amount of fellowship is 31,000 plus housing rent allowance per month. And in addition, contingency grant to purchase stationery and other material costs is rupees 20,000 per year. The students who are eligible to apply are Inspire Scholars, that is, students who has availed Inspire Scholarship at MSc and MS level and has secured 70% or above marks in aggregate or equivalent CGPA. And secondly, only rank 1 holders, mind here, only rank 1 holders at university level examination, not an autonomous college level examination of full-time postgraduate program In science, engineering, technology, agriculture, pharmacy, and other applied science streams, and undergraduate in medicine like MBBS are eligible to apply. And yes, the university shall be providing first rank to only those students which have minimum batch size of 10 students. For example, if in your class there were 9 students and you are the topper, sorry, you are not eligible to apply. And the minimum aggregate percentage that is required is 70% marks. And toppers in any subject specialization in post-graduation second year are not eligible to apply. That means that if you are topper of just second year, not the entire degree, you're not eligible to apply. You need to be the topper of entire university, or and in addition to that, of entire your course, entire master's degree, not just 1 year. So in first level screening, the application procedure is you register at Inspire portal and fill all the details like personal, previous degree, prospective supervisor, institute and tentative research work, etc. Upload the documents. Here the most important document is rank certificate. The template is available in the login account at portal on the right side. So the queries at the first level screening are that students that ask me are, my institute awarded me first rank certificate, can I upload that? No, you cannot, because that is just provided by your university and it is a felicitation to you. And then secondly, is it necessary to upload rank certificate in DST format? Yes, it is. The template is given in the account and you have to submit it in the format. You need to get the signs of your authorities, whatever is mentioned there. And in how much time result will be declared for first level screening? Around 3 months. I have received provisional offer. Can I opt for another supervisor or institute or research topic other than that I mentioned in my application form? Yes, you can. The only thing to be kept in mind is that whatever documents and whatever you institute and supervisor you take while applying for final offer is going to be final, and that is going to be considered because there is merit for that. I received provisional offer on 20th December. Let us say there's a date is 20th December 2018, but I couldn't take admission into PhD within 1 year. Can I still avail Inspire Fellowship? No, the portal will close within 1 year of the date of that you have received provisional offer. So you need to take admission within that 1 year and then continue with the final offer. Second is selection criteria for final offer. Here, this is the main thing comes here. You have taken admission. And then you have to, the 4 things that you will be taking into account are academic merit. Second is host institute, CV of supervisor and research proposal. There are going to be marks for this and merit will be prepared and accordingly you will be selected. The most important thing is research proposal, because in academic merit you are already a topper. So you are already in line with the creamy layer of India. You are already eligible for the prestigious fellowship. So this is my provisional offer that I'm sharing with you. So the main queries that I get here is, what is PhD admission letter? What kind of PhD admission letter can I upload? See, every institute has its own format. So there is not a problem about that. But yes, the admission letter must contain date of joining and your enrollment number. So that would be fine. And it should be issued by registrar, comptroller, dean or director. And it cannot be just by your head of the department or just your supervisor. And second is endorsement certificate. The template is available. You need to sign it and get it signed by your supervisor and stamped, and that's it. And fee receipt, whichever the fee that you have deposited, and CV of supervisor, you just have to upload their CV. And secondly, if you have, yes, 2 research supervisors, then you just merge the files in a PDF and you upload that in a single PDF file. And then comes approved research topic. So this is very important, research proposal. And you can see here that in 4 to 5 pages. This is a very big limitation that DST is requiring us to submit in 4 to 5 pages. So how to just sum up in 4 to 5 pages. So we'll be discussing this for how to do this. And yes, there is a very important thing, ink sign, that is mentioned here. This is how the portal looks like when you are applying for final offer. So here you write the title and here you write a project description that is kind of abstract, like about what are you talking about? What is your research project about? And here you will be uploading in PDF size of maximum 500 KBs. The important thing is ink signed here. So what you just have to do is the last page has to be taken print out, and you have to sign. Your supervisor will sign and stamp, and then you will scan it. That means color scan it, and then merge it with your other 4 pages, and your 5 pages PDF will be complete to upload. So now we are discussing the most important part, that is research proposal. This is for Inspire because of 4 to 5 pages, but of any kind of project or proposal or any kind of fellowship that you are applying, these 5 things should be addressed. These are must. The first comes the title. It should be very much clear and descriptive. Then how we start is with an introduction that provides necessary background and appropriate historical backdrop. Provide the context and set the stage for your research question in such a way that it shows the necessity and importance of your topic. So proceed with literature review. This indicates your ability to integrate and synthesize the existing literature. So here you must cite 10 to 15 good papers that is completely related to your research project or your field of area, whatever topic you have decided. See, for Inspire fellows, I suggest, this is just merely an advice, that you can arrange it in a tabular form due to limitation of pages and make it little more attractive. You can also add pictures. Thirdly comes research gap. Identify the research question and the problem for the literature that has not been answered. It is the most crucial step and forms basis of the proposed work and your contribution to literature. Why you are doing this, why you should be given this fellowship, why you should be sanctioned this project. So this is a very important part. It should comprise of around 1 paragraph, around 10 lines, 10 to 12 lines, but it should be very much clear. And then fourth comes research proposal. Basically, I have mentioned it in proposal because I wanted to combine research objectives and methodology in one. But if there is no limitation of space, you must go separately. Research objectives, clearly defined objectives, and then research methodology should be discussed in detail for other people. But for Inspire fellows, I would say just make a horizontal flow chart like a fishbone diagram or anything to describe your methodology due to limitation of space. So, and the last is envisaged outcomes. This particularly means how your proposed research work on successful implementation will benefit the individual, society, or at a larger scale like country. So this is very important. Why you should be sanctioned this project? If you are given this project, what will be the outcome? So basically, for example, if you are an Inspire fellow, you have been selected for Inspire fellowship, but what would be the outcome? Why DST is paying you for 5 years and giving you research grant and all the facilities? Why? So that is because you are going to contribute to society in one way or the other. And then references, cite articles properly. And yes, the fonts that you should follow is Times New Roman. That's always good. And at 12 font, and title could be in 14 or 16, because there is no particularly mentioned in Inspire guidelines that how you should follow the rules for the format, but it should be well formatted. Next are certain FAQs, the final FAQs. In how much time final result will be declared? So it takes around 2 to 3 months. For me, it was declared in, I uploaded documents in December, and around 13th December is my effective date. I took admission on 6th December, but my effective date is 13th December because date of uploading documents is the effective date. So it took around 2 to 3 months. My result was out on 27th February 2020. And what will be the effective date? See, date of admission or date of uploading documents, whichever is later is going to be the effective date. For example, I have taken here, my admission date is 6th December. I have uploaded documents on 13th December. What will be my effective date? See the later one, 13th December. Is there any prescribed format for admission letter? No, it depends on your institute. Admission letter must contain your enrollment number and roll number and date of admission. Is it necessary to submit the details and documents for final offer within 1 month? Yes, of course it is. But yes, because of certain issues like COVID-19, there has been certain extension. So that is, the notices are published on the website. Continuously keep on visiting website for your details. I'm a first rank holder in master's degree of year 2017. Can I apply for Inspire Fellowship advertisement in year 2020? No, you cannot apply. It is within 2 years of passing out. Like if you passed out this year, you can apply in the advertisement that will be out this year or the next year, just the 2 years. In how much time fellowship amount will be sanctioned? See, in normal scenarios, it takes 2 to 3 months. Can I change title or work after 2 to 3 years? No, you cannot. You cannot change the host institute as well. But if under certain conditions there is a something, you know, literally happened, like your guide passed away or there is some other, so there is a proper procedure that you can discuss with your Inspire. Thank you.
So Akshpreet, it was a wonderful presentation, and I'm very sure you have given a lot of details for the students, and that will really help the students. So Akshpreet, now my last question still is pending, and the question is, what after PhD? So what you will be doing after PhD? What are the things in your mind once you complete your doctorate?
See, there are various options on the table. The first would be applying for Inspire faculty. And second could be preparing for and appearing for competitive exams are one of them. But these are very dicey, so one must have a backup career option. Obviously, academics is one of them. And both government and private R&D positions are available for me. Seeing the unemployment rate and lack of regular openings, postdoc could be one of it, and it would also add to my research expertise.
Okay, so that is what you want to do that. Anyhow, Akshpreet, on the basis of this presentation, you know, students may have some kind of queries or questions to be asked. So this is my genuine request to you that if they approach you, since you have given your details, email ID also, if they approach you for any kind of query, I'm very sure you're going to help them out.
Sure, sir. Bilkul.
And thanks a lot, Akshpreet, and all the very best for your career ahead.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you.